Hey guys, Daniel Faust. Before we jump into the third week of May's topic in the boardroom, I wanted to give a personal shout out and thank you for all the people who have taken thoughts and prayers and support for my wife, Michelle, and wanted to give you a quick update. So Friday, she went over and had heart issues and had to go into the ER and found out she has this disease called POTS. It's a pulmonary heart disorder and whatnot. So she came home Saturday, and then as of Monday, when she was taking her medication, and then also with other, medical issues, that she spiked up and had a reaction. So back to the ER. So she is home now. She is stabilizing. So I wanted to thank you for your thoughts and thank you for your prayers on all that support and everything else. So very much appreciated as you guys are still commenting on the post, giving thoughts and prayers. If you want to connect with her directly, just connect directly to her Facebook. It would be really awesome for you to go over and do that. And I wanted to thank you guys all for that before we jump into this week's topic. So I'm so excited. And also another praise that she's home, that I am now back on the military side as a tech sergeant. So long story short, got it taken away for something that was really, really asinine, and leadership over here at my base and everything else has, with the leadership back at my last base, has restored us back to tech sergeant, which is absolutely fantastic. And the coolest part is tomorrow I'm getting a haircut. So it's like, yeah, awesome. So, all right. So again, I want to thank you guys for going over and supporting us and everything else. And hopefully that this content's going over and supporting you. And we're going to go jump in now into boardroom teleworking or work. Part 1. So this week we're talking about teleworking or being at work, because the coronavirus has changed our landscape, hasn't it? Who ever thought that people would be going over meeting in Zoom meetings, telemedicine by going over in appointments? Ever thought about just doing curbside pickup and all these things from all these other places? We have expedited many things that were predicted between 2025 and 2040. And Brooklyn's EDU, which is where most of this content comes from, and thank you guys for giving great wisdom, states that up to 50% of the current jobs with the coronavirus that are still functional, not the ones that went home, went to a teleworking model. So most of us, especially in the military and first responders, never thought of working in our garages like what I'm doing right now, our bedrooms, or our couches. So what we're going to be talking about tonight is that we're going to discuss the pros and the cons of teleworking. And if you want to add to the conversation, we'd love to hear what pros are you having with working teleworking right now, and what cons are you having with teleworking, so you can see if this is for you in this transforming process from war hero to superhero. Some of you guys are active duty that go over and watch this, and you're going to be going back to the workplace, and you might not get that choice. Other people, you might be reserve or arts or GS employees, or your first responders, in the sense of you might not be directly EMS and things that you guys are constantly going out and fighting, but you might be supporting those people, and you've never thought you'd go work at home. The VA sent 35,000 people home. USAA, which there are a lot of veterans, went over and now working at home. So many places. So let's talk about the pros and the cons and go over and make some wise decisions on where our next transformative steps, because you might just transform into a different role just because of this. So let's go jump in. First, we're going to talk about the pros. The first part, depending if you're the employer or you're the employee, is office space savings. In this particular regard, like going over and looking, for example, like the schools, they spend millions of dollars. I think the school they're putting in on base is like 50 million, I'm estimating, going in there. Look how much space that we go over and save when we go over and go home. And or if you go over and owned a business and you were doing it from an office or a co-working space, and now you're allowed to not go do that. How much rental money did you go over and save in that particular regard? That's one pro. Might not affect everybody, but this is a pro that affected everybody, is commute time. Commute time is key, man. You could be saving between 30 minutes to 3 hours. I remember going back and living in Washington State and working and having to sometimes commute an hour to work at Domino's. And if I left after 3:30, I'd be in traffic for 3 hours. So I would average 2 to 4 hours of commute a day. Now get to go and be home and saving that commute. How do you feel not getting in your car every single day, doing the grind, going over and filling the gas tank? Another one is productivity increased. You didn't have to go over and worry about every single person going over and distracting you. The average person, when we're back at normal work, only actively and productively works 5.5 hours a day. And that's on the high end of productivity. If you calculate lunch, bathroom breaks, the commute over there, different meetings, getting pulled over for different assignments, distractions on the phones, and all the other different things that go over and bother us, productivity probably increased drastically. I know, at least when I was talking to the VA reps in USAA, they're like, woo, we're getting stuff done. Same thing on the reserve side. Another one is retention, because you're not having to really deal with anybody. Yeah, you're dealing with email products and instant messages and maybe phone calls, but you don't have to have that face-to-face. So you might want to go over and stay longer, because guess what? You get to work from one of your favorite places, is your home. Another one is job satisfaction. When you go over and get to choose like your hours or get to choose your location, you get to go over and not wear pants. Maybe you're not wearing pants. I always wear pants. So just so you know, when you see these lives, I'm wearing pants. I'll stand up for you just to show, bam, pants right there. So you could be going, but you might have that luxury of going over and not have to wear pants. Now, if you're not even on video, you could go over and do it in your natural. So maybe you have a higher job satisfaction because of that. So that's just an option for that. Also, one of the coolest things that I think Brooklyn's EDU said is about breaks down the gender gap. We, as a society, still go over and have like fathers that tend to go over into work and forget about the family, and moms take over much of the brunt. I want to thank you, moms, for going over and doing this. You take up 80% of the load, even when a husband and wife goes over and works. So you guys are the heroes at home in that regard. But when you get to work at home, you actually still get to be involved with the family. You can go take those breaks in between to be engaged with your kids, and you're balancing a lot. Dads are doing it too, but moms, you guys are heroes going over and managing the school ops and then the home ops and everything else. And you still can go over and be that hero going over and bringing money in. And then you don't have to worry about the gap in as much of that regard. It also goes over and reduces work-family conflicts, because now you're going to go over and more focus on the family ops than the home ops, because you really can't go over and escape it. So you start working out those succinct issues on relationships and sharing and where to balance and not balance and when to cut off and not cut off. Because even myself, I'm going to cut off right at 18:30, boom, set and done. So it makes it a lot easier. When you tend to be at the office space, you go over, and if there's conflicts at home, you try to go drive away from them in a sense of staying at work. But reality is driving more of a wedge. So there is a lot of pros in that particular thing. So what do you think so far? Is these pros in your list? Do you have other pros that you want to go over and mention? Put them in the comments. We'd love to go engage and to go over and connect with those. Now, the other side and the scary side of telework, other than not wearing pants. Woo! You know, just don't jump up on the screen. You've seen those memes recently or those different videos, people going like, you're not, they go into the bathroom. Woo! Make sure you're taping places, right, when you do these videos. Your cons. Because there's always cons to every single thing. Unfortunately, there's pros and cons. One of the things that comes up is procrastination. You don't have the pressure anymore of somebody going over and pushing you towards things. Yeah, they could go over and call you, and you could be like, they're calling on my personal phone. Boop, I'm not going to call. Oh, it's on this. Boop, I'm not going to go do that. So you can procrastinate. Or maybe it's because maybe you really didn't like your job in the first place, and the only reason you pushed is because you were in front at work. So that's one. Another one that comes up as a con is professional isolation. We used to go out to the bars or hang out at the water coolers or go to events and sports and different things. And the way you were able to grow your career was to go over into your net worth was your net worth, right? And this can go over. It's very easy to stay within your hole and not go over and connect with people. So that is a con of going over and doing this telework. Less creativity. When we go over and we're not exposed to many people and we're not going over and doing certain things and whatnot, and we don't have the different ideas, then the creativity kind of spins out of control and very few creative ideas come out, because you might see something, you might interact with someone might say something different and you're like, oh, there's an idea. But when you're doing telework could go over and it's like, hey, it might be the certain grind every single day. So you're not engaging with those people. You're not having those thought processes. You're not taking those de-stress times at the smoke pit or going to air out or go to the parking lot, and you don't have that creativity as much. There's also actually a higher version of absenteeism, because when you go from your bed to your desk, in your garage, in your bedroom, maybe at the couch, you're like, I don't know if I want to go there, that particular car. Because once you get in the car and you get going, you're kind of already committed. You're drive. You're not going to go in and be like, yeah, I'm leaving right now, 30 minutes in, because I'm done. Usually that's when people quit. But absenteeism could be going to do that. It might be in the sense of absenteeism, in the sense of actually not going and calling in a virtual sick day, or it could to the point of that you might be absent into the task because you don't have that underlying motivator to go over and keep you going. What also happens in telework is actually this kind of higher turnover. You don't have maybe the motivation anymore because you just have the work in front of you, but you don't see the further fruit of it. And you're like, this is all I got, just going through these emails and answering these questions and maybe answering these customer service calls or doing these certain reports and whatnot. And you're like, I don't see no upward mobility. And oh, there's so much other jobs, and everybody's talking about working at home in a better job or working on Amazon selling stuff or whatever it is. And you're like, yeah, I'll just turn over, because you don't have the accountability anymore. Like, I have a boss, that on this work, but I still see him occasionally, in this particular regard in this COVID season. But some people, you might not see your boss for like 2, 3, 4 months, and you're like, and then your spouse starts talking to you because you have more of those relations, and you're like, ooh, maybe there's something else better. There's also less promotion. They've said statistically, again, this is from brooklands.edu, that's saying that you're 1/3 less likely to go over if you have a work center that does part telework and part at work, and you're doing telework work. They don't know who you are. They just see your facts and your statistics and everything else. Unless you're truly shining on what you're doing, and let's say you have the whole crew on telework, it's hard to go over and say like, well, Johnny's there all the time, and Johnny connects with Susie, and Susie's the boss, and Susie got promoted because Susie sees Johnny all the time, but you only come in once a month just to go check your connections, make sure your computer patches are going. You go over and maybe pick up something from HR, that's whatever it is, and this might be less of an opportunity for promotion. There's also lower salary growth. Again, the same thing, they can even think of you as like, well, we're already saving you money by letting you telework and pay all this other money. Why are we going to go have you get a higher salary growth? I mean, and you're not there to go ask for the promotions and to connect with those people, because those people might be in the workplace and you're not. So in summary, I have a couple questions for you guys to go over and ask you. I'd love for you to engage in the comments. What other pros and cons can you think of? Is there something that you want to add to the community to go over and to help people go over and think on, is it worthwhile when COVID is released and maybe you're at the end of your enlistment? Maybe you're a veteran and you're looking at a transition job and you've been stuck at home teleworking. Maybe you're that first responder that's going over and thinking about the next steps. Or maybe you work in these fields and you're more the administrative staff, and you might have a pull to go over and say something. They made a teleworking act under the Obama campaign in 2010 to increase teleworking, but psychologically, depending on the person and their style, they said you had to go to work even though it didn't have to be. And now that we're in COVID, we're like, oh, we can actually do this. So I want to hear your pros and your cons on there. Are you going over and thriving as you're doing forced telework right now? Or are you just going over and surviving? My next question is, where do you sit with teleworking in this new world in 2020? Are you for it? Are you against it? Do you go over and was waiting for this moment and you're like, this magic moment, and then you're like, I finally got on telework? For some people, they were begging for it, and other people, they're like, I always love to go work in there. So where do you sit in this world? Because as of 2025, the last statistics I looked at, 79 million Americans will have their at-home business. So in a sense, it's a telework type job. And other companies are saying they're going to sit there for a while. Google, for example, ain't going back to work until the end of 2020 and 2021. So even if the whole disease got wiped out of the planet, Google basically said like, hey, we're not doing it. And people like Yahoo years ago, that was teleworking years ago, they brought people back in. I don't know what they're doing now. But where do you go over and sit into this teleworking world? Because our superhero challenge for you today, if you're watching this on day one, part one, is take 5 minutes, 300 seconds out of your day today to see where you want to be in the next 5 years, and see if a teleworking at your current job or a job that you want to do is going to go over and work for you. Or maybe it's an at work job to get you there, because some people's goals, the whole reason to go over the telework is to have more pros than cons. If I'm going to work and I'm limited on salary and passion and everything else and who I go over and connect with, and I can't network, then I might need to go do an at work job when things go back. Or maybe I need to find a whole different company or path to go and go. Because the transformation from war hero to superhero is not to just to go jump into another job. It is to you to get to your dreams and destiny, for you to go over and to thrive. That's a magical word, isn't it? But it's a choice. It's a mindset to go over and do. So I challenge you today to go take 5 minutes to go see where you want to be in 2025. Instead of allowing COVID, the 9/11, the 2008 crash, or whatever the next comes up, how about we go over, instead of a war hero that we do and then we respond and we serve, which that's great. The next response to go be a superhero is to go over and to think and to act and to go over and to respond. So I want to challenge you just for 5 minutes of your day, and then you can just blow it off if you want. But I wanted to go over and see where you sit in that particular regard. So we hope this goes over and serves you. We're going to come from another 3 perspectives. We're going to talk more about tomorrow. Are you the teleworking person? Are you actually the type of person that would telework well? We're going to talk more into that tomorrow. And if you're looking at taking your brick and mortar life and you're trying to make it more digital, more broadcasting, as you go see in my ticker, we are having a virtual summit at the end of the month. If you go to easywayliveevents.com, there's myself and 30 other influential speakers that are going to go help you transform your business from brick to mortar to broadcasting and get into that digital platform. And how did it go over and raise? So we'd love for you to go over and to join. Our referral code is below, War Hero to Superhero. And if we get 1,000 registrants, right now, I'd have to go double check the numbers, but if we as Learn and Live in War Hero to Superhero, the TV show that airs every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m., if we go over and get 1,000 registrants under this War Hero to Superhero referral code, one of you will go over and get a $250 gift card from me, not from Learn and Live, not from War Hero Superhero, from me, Daniel Faust. Just a simple letter with a 50-cent stamp that goes over and says, thank you for going over and joining me on this virtual summit. Here is your $250 gift card. Have fun. That's it. No taxes, no nothing else. You just can go over and spend. If you want to post and share what we went over and gave you, great. If you don't, I'm not stalking you. I'm just mailing it straight to you and you can go over and enjoy. I know that you will have a grateful heart. And that's my goal, is to go over and do that. To take you, the military veteran and first responder, like myself, and take us from surviving to thriving. So that's it. So we hope that you go over and join us there. We'd love to have you go over and meet you there. Again, people like Sharon Lecter, the guy that's done Make-A-Wish Foundation, there's going to be a lot of influential people that are going over there, and you get that opportunity to go connect with them and grow. And if you're looking to take brick and mortar ideas and go to more of that teleworking, broadcasting, take yourself to the next level, we'd love for you to join. And even if you're not there, you become a registrant, you can just go to Glean and one of you are going to win $250. That's it. It's worthwhile, isn't it? I'd sign up. I've done that before. I even signed up for that guy that did the UBI. There was like one of those president candidates. I'm like, yeah, I don't agree with UBI, but you're going to give me $1,000? Woo! You know, sometimes you just go over and you do the thing for the opportunity or to serve the person. So we love to go over and see you there. So love for you to connect. The ticker's right there. So again, let's go look at the comments real quick, what you guys added real quick. All right. Thank you, Laura, for going over and praying for us and our family. I'll give you an update personally afterwards. So thank you for going over and doing that. But we want to thank you guys for us going over and thinking of our family and thinking of us. It's really awesome to see you guys actually step up. It was pretty awesome. And we love to go over and serve you in any capacity we have. No matter what trials we go through, we're here to go over and serve you. So thank you guys. And tomorrow you're going to see a fresh haircut on this head. It's going to be awesome. Yes. Been waiting a long time for this. Clippers are just not my friend. Anyway, so have a guys great day. Love for you to go over, and the conversation doesn't end. So if you have anything to add, put it in the comments below. We will go over and respond to them accordingly. Thank you. You guys have a good day, and we'll see you tomorrow on Pot 2 on teleworking. Are you the right person to telework? All right. Bye.